What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Moving to Florida show. I'm your host, Judson Osmond, along with co-host Mohit Badlani. Mo.
What up, what up?
There we go. We got a great guest today. First of all, I want to thank Mo so much for getting him lined up for us. We're going to be talking about lending in Florida and the Hometown Heroes program. So we have got Yahya Chhotani.
Well,
Did I get it
there
right?
we go.
So you got it perfectly.
He was practicing before we got on.
I was, admittedly. But there we go. Yahya. So thank you so much for joining us here on the Moving to Florida show.
Thank you for having me over, guys. It's really fun.
Yeah, we were already having some laughs before we hit record here. So yeah, we had to go ahead and get on the air and get it going. So, I know you're here to kind of give us a general status on lending in Florida and especially talk about the Hometown Heroes program. I know we've been hearing about it, but Mo and I admittedly don't know a ton about it. And so we're excited to have you on to talk to us and our listeners about what that program looks like here in Florida.
Thank you, Justin. That's awesome, man. And I got to say, this program is pretty phenomenal. And a lot of people, they don't know about it, surprisingly, which is kind of interesting because it's a lot of money, man. It's like a lot of money given to people and nobody really seems to know much about it. So I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun episode on this one.
Yeah. Well, so, before we dive into that, I do have to ask you about your Florida story. Are you from Florida originally, or did you move here from somewhere else?
So I'm not from Florida originally. I am originally from Pakistan, but I lived in Malaysia for about 11 years. And I first moved to New Jersey, and I came down here just for a little, vacation, like a fishing trip, and kind of got hooked down here, man. So went back up. A week later, grabbed all my stuff, came back down here, and have never left.
A fishing trip, and you got hooked. I see what you did there. Oh, man,
I'm telling you. It's the fishing capital of the world, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. So how long ago was that? How long have you been in Florida?
So I came here in, I want to say, July of 2017.
Okay, cool. So around the same time frame. I was 2016.
Okay.
So yeah.
Got a head start on me.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, Mo got a head start on us both, though. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm the old guy in the group. I'm the veteron here.
Oh, look how he tries to take the compliment. He veterans himself up here.
All right. Yep. And then how long have you been in lending?
So it's interesting. I got into real estate in 2018, but I officially started doing lending since the beginning of this year.
Gotcha. So you started off on the real estate side and then made the transition?
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm colorblind, man, so I can't really show homes. It doesn't work well for me.
Okay.
But I was always involved in numbers in real estate, the appreciation part of it, the amortization part of it. And it was like a very confusing state at that time. I'm like, man, I need to do lending, or should I stay in real estate, or what should I do? Where should I go?
All right, we've got Yahya back. We had a little technical difficulty there, but we've got everybody back now. So let's continue. I know we were talking about real estate and your transition to lending, but let's go ahead and get into the Hometown Heroes program, because that's what we're really here to talk about today, is the Heroes program and how this can benefit these people that are looking at moving to Florida. So can you give us a brief overview of what the program is?
Sure. That's a very good way to start it. So this program is, primarily focused on making homes affordable for the frontline community. And this includes the law enforcement, officers, firefighters, educators, healthcare professionals, and a lot more. There's like over 50 different occupations that qualify for this program. So it's really cool in that sense. And it is for first-time home buyers. So, if you, in the last couple of years, prices have gone up, inflation has gone up a lot, and it has caused a lot of people to not have down payment or closing cost money for homes, and especially people that do make decent money. So, this does not have first-time homebuyer income restrictions. It does have pretty good levels of income you can qualify with. So it gives you that extra money that you may need to qualify for the home in terms of down payment and closing costs. Now, if you are a veteran or active military, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer. But if you're not, then you have to be a first-time home buyer. That's the only caveat there. It does come in conventional, FHA, and VA. And the cool thing about this program is that it does come with a special interest rate. So it's not the market rates. They've subsidized it a little bit just to kind of help folks a little more, make housing more affordable for them. So in that essence, it's really, really nice. and you can get up to $25,000 maximum cash or 5% of the home value.
So as far as the up to $25,000 is a down payment assistance program, or really, I guess it could be closing cost assistance too.
Yes. So to use an example here, let's say you're looking to buy a home for $300,000, right? We're going to automatically reserve 5%. We're going to automatically go for that because maximum cap is $25,000 or 5%. So if we do 5%, if you're putting 3% down, that's like $9,000. And the balance left is $6,000. That can be now applied to your closing costs. So in essence, you're going to get the full $15,000 for 5%. Whatever else you decide to put out of pocket, that's up to you.
Okay, got it. And something else you said earlier stuck out to me. And I feel like I've heard this about the program, and I don't know, maybe I'm imagining. You mentioned that it was at a special rate and that they subsidize it. So I know that the down payment assistance part is basically a 0% interest rate. Is that right?
Yes. So what it is, sorry, you were going to ask something else?
Well, so the follow-up to that is there also a discount to the mortgage on that conventional, that FHA or VA? Do they also get a discount on their normal mortgage?
So that's the discount I'm talking about. So yeah, okay. Your qualifying rate's a little bit better than the market rate because it's through Florida Housing. And, okay. they basically have their own rates. We don't really get to lock the rate in as we normally do. So we work with Florida Housing and they reserve the rates for us and let us know, okay, this is the market rate for the day. We're going to give you this rate. And there are caveats like credit scores. So to qualify for the program, the minimum credit score needed is 640. So you have to have it, right? Now with that, if they have a specific rate, for example, let's say today they're telling us it's going to be 5.75 for FHA, then that's the rate we're going to give. It's not really going to be like regular lending where I go in, look at points, look at all the stuff and get back to you. And you were talking about 0% on the second mortgage. Yes. So it's going to be listed on your contract as a second mortgage. It's going to be a 0% non-amortizing loan. So you don't have to make payments to it. There's no interest on it, but it's going to be as a second lien on the property for 30 years. Okay.
So that brings up an important question that I have. I know as part of this, and I mean, I know we're introducing this to our listeners and we've talked about it on the show before though. And one of the questions that I keep coming back to, and I don't know if you'll even know this, what happens after the 30 years? I know that if they sell the home, they have to repay the loan, the up to 25, their down payment assistance. If they sell it, if they refinance, all of those things, I know they have to repay it. But what happens after 30 years when the first mortgage is paid off?
So they're both going to be listed for 30 years. So that's a very good question. So yes, typically anything that triggers the loan to be paid, like you said, refinancing it will trigger it. Selling the property will trigger it. If you're turning it into an investment property and somebody else is going to live there in a couple of years, then it's going to come due because that's something that triggers it. But after 30 years, it will come due because your mortgage is now paid off. Now to that, I'm going to give you another question here. So let's say Justin here is awesome and he makes extra payments to his mortgage and he paid off the home in 15 years. What happens now?
Yeah, does that trigger it?
That will not trigger it because what you're merely doing is you're paying off your first mortgage earlier than expected. And your second mortgage is a lien on the property again for 30 years. So it will come due in 30, but if you were to sell the property, refinance, or do something of that nature, then yes, it will come due.
So it is effectively a 30-year balloon loan?
Yes.
Okay.
You can say that.
Now, that you mentioned that it's a balloon loan, it's a silent loan, it has to come due at some point. Can someone pay that off early?
Of course. Absolutely. Okay. I wouldn't see a benefit to that.
Yeah,
right. An interest. Yeah.
Or are there any penalties to paying it off or paying that portion off early?
Nope, there's no penalties. That's the cool thing about this, because that's a very good question you asked. If I'm thinking about this, I'm like, okay, $25,000 in today's market value, in 30 years are going to be worth way less in that market value. So a lot of people think, well, I have to pay this back and it's not really like a forgivable mortgage. Right. The way inflation is right now, $25,000 in 30 years is going to be worth way less. So yeah, you're probably paying back a lot less, So it's really not impacting you as badly.
Yeah.
Right. It's not incurring any interest or anything.
Exactly. Yeah. It's 0%. It doesn't advertise.
Well, and to come back to Mo's question, though, if you were to make payments on it, you're effectively making just a full principal payment since there is no interest.
Sure. Yeah. There's no principal. Exactly. No interest on it.
Okay. So for our Florida home buyers that are moving to Florida, does this type of loan take longer to process than, say, a typical conventional or FHA loan?
Yes, it would take a little bit longer, not a lot longer, but it's just that because now we have Florida Housing and they are a government body and they have their own processes in place and how they work, and the loan is underwritten twice. So me as a lender, I would take on the loan, I would underwrite it with my guidelines, with my underwriters. We'll give it to Florida Housing. Florida Housing will review it and underwrite it on their behalf, and then we'll have the file back. So based on the volume they're getting, based on the amount of reservations they have, that could take some time. But I wouldn't say that it's going to take a 50-day loan to close. It probably just maybe another day or two is going to be added to the timeline.
Okay, so yeah, not really even a noticeable thing unless you're trying to be super competitive and make it super fast closing.
Exactly, yeah. And the other thing is, because it is a government body, we do require certain additional documents for eligibility, like licensure and, verification of employment, stuff like that. So if you're not getting all these documents in time, that could cause the delay. So as long as everything is provided in advance and everything is good to go, it shouldn't be any delays in that.
Yeah, that was my next question. What are some of the reasons they might get denied for this loan?
Denied, personally, I haven't seen anybody get denied simply because the guidelines, right? So let's say you have to be 640 to qualify. Now, if you don't have that score, you're not going to qualify. If you do not qualify as one of the 50 or 80 eligible occupations or fail to provide a license or any certification or any evidence that you are in those occupations, then of course you're not going to qualify for the program. But apart from that, something that would maybe deny someone, I haven't personally seen that. But it could be maybe, again, a regular loan delinquency, like if you have credit that, have judgment liens or things of that nature that prevent you from getting any regular mortgage, that would be something that may be causing issues.
I see.
Gotcha. Well, so you mentioned licensing a couple of times. So I think maybe at this point it's important for us to point out that this is the Hometown Heroes program. I know you mentioned earlier it's meant for those people that are on the front line. What are some of the occupations, and do they all require a license? But really, who are we talking about? Who are these Hometown Heroes that would qualify for this program?
So you can have, basically there's a big list, but I'll give you some examples. Like if you're a registered nurse, you're a firefighter, you are a corrections officer, police officer, healthcare professional, active military, veteran, childcare professionals, teachers assistants, like, psychiatrists, chiropractors, there's like a big list. But when I say license or certification, if you are a chiropractor, you would have a state license. If you are a registered nurse, you would have a nurse license. So, things like that would just prove that, yes, you are in this occupation, and a verification of employment is needed later on, which just proves simply that you're doing what you're saying, and we have evidence of that, and you're good to go.
I never would have thought about chiropractors. I have a chiropractor client. I'm going to have to talk to them about this.
Oh, yeah, no, you should.
He's going to go in their office tomorrow and be like, hey, where's your license, bro?
Hey, you can get some closing costs and pop my back.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I'm giving you $25,000, man, just to crack my back,
Okay.
So I've noticed in the past other DPA programs that we've had in Florida that they would require the buyers to take a certain class or something like that to get like a certification, a class. It's along those lines. Does that one person have to do that for this DPA program?
Yes. So if you are a first-time home buyer, which unless you are a veteran or a active military, you need to take that because it is only for first-time home buyers and it is a primary property loan.
Right. So they do have to take. What does this class encompass?
It's a first-time homebuyer class. It's something that they'll have to do just to understand the entire process on the Truth in Lending Act and just how the entire home process works. It's a very easy course. Right. Typically, when we do the application, we send them a list of places that do these classes, and people can do them at home. They can go in person, and they can pretty much do that in a day and just get a certification for it.
Can someone from out of state looking to move to Florida qualify?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
So it is a primary residence. So if, let's say, Justin is moving from Georgia,
Right.
and he is a firefighter there, obviously he's licensed, has a certification. He's going to come down here, possibly do the same thing. So if he's doing the same thing, he'll be able to provide me with what I need. And he's living in Florida, buying it for himself. So absolutely, no reason why not.
Yeah. So basically, as long as you have a job, maybe a job offer, or you've started a job that's in a qualifying line of work.
Exactly.
Okay. And then the other thing I've heard is veterans. I know you mentioned that veterans do not have to meet the first-time homebuyer criteria, but my understanding also is that a veteran, even if they're in a different line of work now, but as a veteran, they would qualify.
Yeah, of course. Veteran VA loans are some of the best loans. I love them. Veterans are awesome. Thanking all of them for their amazing service. And what this does is gives them a little bit more room to play with because they have up to $25,000 towards closing cost assistance. So, if normally in a VA loan, they basically cover closing costs because they don't have to put anything down. But that closing cost is still like, for let's say $300,000 property, maybe $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. And if this covers that, then you're coming out with nothing.
Okay. Very cool.
All right. Now, how long do you think this program's going to last?
Man, I hope it lasts forever. But so a lot of these programs, they typically either get merged into another program. Like I know you guys may have heard of Salute Our Soldiers. That was what happened to that program, I believe, is it merged into this one. And they kind of unified it into one program. So if they come up with something new, they may just end up merging this into that or just keep it till the funds run out, I guess.
Right. So I know that I think it was originally funded with like $100 million. Is that the correct number?
I believe yesterday I did check the funding on it, and it was for the FHA. It said that there was about $98,180,489 on it. And for the FHA, they still had $164 million in funds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
That was my next question. How much money is left in this program?
Well, I kind of answered before.
Is it different for FHA and for the conventional side of things? Like how much funding is given into conventional versus FHA?
You see, that's what I found. That's when I looked up in the eHousing Plus website, that's what I saw, that they had two different sections.
Can you go over those numbers again real quick? Because I think you said FHA on both of them. You might have meant one of those was conventional.
Oh, yeah, you know where you're right. You probably caught my mistake there. So conventional was $98,180,489, and for the FHA it was about $164,433,091.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, either way more than that original $100 million that we had originally heard it was funded with, and that's where I was going to go too. I heard that somewhere along the way additional funds were allocated to it. So that's awesome. It sounds like this program could be around for a while.
Oh yeah, and it was. I think it was launched in June or July, and from what I'm looking at, originally injected $200 million for conventional and $600 for FHA. That's like almost $1 billion in funding.
Okay, so a lot more than I was thinking originally.
Oh, yeah, I mean it's way more than $100 million. It's money I can't even pronounce.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to find out was are there different criteria you have to meet in order for you to get the FHA versus getting the conventional? Or it could be like, okay, he qualifies for the conventional, but we're going to go with the FHA instead because it's a little more flexible.
That's the second answer that you gave, because I actually had a situation like that. I had a client who was pre-approved with FHA because the rates were much better. And, we were ready to go with that and it was awesome, but she wanted to buy a condo. So because it was a condo, I had to switch to conventional. And it had to be a warrantable condo, so we switched. But yes, you can go back and forth depending on what feels good or what's good for the actual client at that point.
Okay.
Cool.
Very good. Yeah, I actually have a buyer doing that exact situation. We're working. This is my first time working through the Hometown Heroes program, and that he qualifies for it, and he wants a condo. So even though the interest rates are not going to be as good, that's what he wants. And and I mean, granted, they're in some cases more affordable. This brings up an interesting conversation. What are rates looking like today?
So rates, the thing about rates is, man, with what's going on with the Fed and everything that's happening, rates are very closely monitored with the 30-year mortgage bonds. that go on,
Right.
and they've been falling like nothing. And rates have been kind of bad. They've been ranging between really, really high fives, like 5.875 to about 6.25 between that.
Okay, and that's on a conventional?
That's on a conventional. I mean, I just checked that in the morning, so it's roughly between there.
Yeah, and FHA tends to be a little better?
FHA typically does tend to be a little bit better. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Didn't the thresholds for FHA and conventional change, like the minimum borrowing?
Oh, minimum borrowing?
Or maximum borrowing?
Oh, yeah, it did, man. Listen, that was the happiest day of my life.
I saw conventional is going to be something like in the 700s in Orange County.
$715,000, man.
Isn't that a jumbo loan?
That's
Right.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's insane because you can now do a regular conventional loan for $715,000,
Amazing.
like almost $1 million. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow. And what was FHA again? Sorry,
I
didn't catch that.
can't remember the top of my head right now, but
I think is it in the fives? I think
it's
in the
fives
somewhere
or
there.
sixes?
Yeah, no, it's in the fives.
the five.
Yeah.
6 would be a little.
Yeah, so you can get an FHA loan in the 500s here
Yeah.
in Florida now.
Why do you think they do that? Why do you think they move it up every year? And that too, it's drastically up from previous years.
I mean, I would think purely because look at property values, man. Like average median home, if it's gonna be like $400-something thousand, and you try to buy a home for somebody, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,500 square feet, let's say,
Right.
you tell me what's the price of that? I mean, 3 years ago I could probably pay lower threes for it, 340,
Yep.
350, right?
Depending
Now-
on the area, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now it's 450, 460 probably somewhere in the,
Yeah.
right? So
A
it's-
1,500 square foot. If you're in Dr. Phillips, you're talking about a minimum of 700,000.
see, there you go. So
And that's that 700,000 conventional loan. Yeah, your old neighborhood in Waterloo. I was just looking at a 2,000 square foot. It's 715.
Yeah. And they're not dropping any prices. These builders are not dropping prices. They're giving you all kinds of
They're
stuff.
offering incentives, but yeah,
All kinds of incentives, but
Yeah.
they're not dropping prices, which is kind of surprising.
yes, indeed.
Yeah, bro. That was fun, man.
Yeah.
That was really cool. That was pretty, insightful.
I
So do
can
we have
imagine.
Very insightful.
Do we have any other questions on Hometown Heroes, listeners? I'm sure you guys are going to have questions, so be sure to get those to us. I know.
Oh, yeah.
we'll
We're
wrap
going to
up
do
here
a
in
listener
little bit.
questionnaire.
Yeah, but
I'm
yeah. So I
thinking
mean,
too. Yeah, go ahead.
no. Let us know what you got, brother.
No, I'm thinking what else I can share about this program. I mean, one cool thing I found with this program is that you don't have the regular income limits for first-time home buyers. So Orange County max income cap is $124,000. So, you don't have to be limited to I know first-time home buyer programs typically are average median income is supposed to be 80% or less in the area. And most often it's $55,000, $60,000. But now if you're a registered nurse or nurse practitioner, you're making upwards of 100, so then it automatically disqualifies you. But with this program, you don't. So it's super cool. And I think we should definitely use this awareness to kind of let people know, man, hey, use this, buy a home, please. Don't rent because it's just sad.
It's there for you for a reason,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
We have hundreds of millions of dollars. Use them.
So, going off the Hometown Heroes, are there DPA programs for people who are not in those fields?
Of course, yeah, there are.
Yeah.
There's this one nationwide FHA program called the Chenoa Fund, which comes, I believe, with 3.5% and 5% forgivable loan, and it's forgiven after 36 months. I have to, read it again, but just off the top of my head, that's the guideline. So yeah, you could do that. You also have the regular programs, and there's one. I don't know if you guys work down in Brevard County, but there's one there that just came out that I'm trying to get more info on. It's called the Mass Housing Bond or something, which gives you up to $40,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Brevard
And
County homes are high priced too.
And guys, listeners, I have to apologize for Mo's jargon there. DPA would be down payment assistance. That
Yeah,
is what we're
sorry.
talking about here.
I
Down
should be
payment
apologizing
assistance.
for that and detailing that, but thank you, Justin. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Sometimes we get lost in
I
that, we're just having a conversation here, and then we just, because we all three know what the
jargon.
the jargon is. So,
Yeah, I promised myself I'm not going to use terms like DTI in the conversation. Because
what's that?
Because it's such a normal thing. You use that every single time, like multiple times, and then you just throw it out there, and the listener's like, "What the hell did you say?" Like, no.
Yep. Well,
so there are programs for people who are not in the Hometown Hero category.
Yes.
So there are programs for you guys out there too who are listening that may not fall into the Hometown Heroes category.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I would highly recommend people. I mean, look, the best way to do that is talk to somebody who does them. Not a lot of lenders do down payment assistance programs. So, I happen to be one registered with Hometown, and we do others too. But just find out who does them, because that way they can give you the right information. And a lot of realtors I know also don't really work with down payment assistance programs or have never worked with them. So, if somebody knows that, it's a really cool thing, because they could really guide you through and tell you which program works better for you and how it would benefit you. And you can look at, numbers long term. So, because sometimes going through that may or may not benefit you. So you want to look at that too.
Very cool. Good. Let me see if I can just quickly summarize what we've been talking about today, and you can confirm if I've got all of this right. So the Hometown Heroes program is a down payment assistance program. It offers up to $25,000 in down payment assistance and closing cost assistance for qualifying buyers. That will be our Hometown Heroes. Things like firemen, police officers, teachers, doctors, nurses, these people. Our Hometown Heroes, our frontline workers. Now our audience is people moving to Florida, so they would have to have a job in Florida working in one of those, unless they're a veteran who's moving to Florida, because as a veteran, they would automatically qualify. It's up to 5% or 5% of the loan value, so could theoretically cover, hey, if you're a veteran, it could cover all your closing costs possibly. If you're a conventional buyer, it's cover your down payment, you just be bringing closing costs. FHA somewhere in between, cover your down payment and some of your closing costs. Is that kind of surmise it? You don't have to pay it back for 30 years, zero interest, non-amortizing. I think I got all the points.
Oh, you did, and it's beautiful when I love putting numbers out just so people have like an idea. Like you just said, yeah. I mean, let's say conventional loan amount is $300,000, and you're putting $9,000 down. Now you have left over $6,000, and you did a escrow deposit of, let's say, $3,000, and your total cost, everything came up to another $9,000. So you basically bought a home with $3,000 out of pocket. I mean, that's like, it's like you put that as a rental deposit in most places, right? Like 2 months deposit is like what, $5,000 or something. So
in
really,
Florida, in Orlando, sure about that?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
It's more like $4,000 to $6,000 depending.
Wow. So
rent is just outrageous right now.
So, I mean, dude, so that's so cool. So since you're saying I would have to put $6,000 as a deposit for a rental, and if I am a Hometown Hero and I do qualify and I can pay that or less than that out of my pocket and get the rest from the state and actually buy a home and not have to worry about paying that for 30 years, dude, I don't know why somebody would not say yes to that.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Well, with that, Yahya, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Let our listeners know how they can reach you if they want to learn more about this program and get qualified for it.
Thank you, Justin, and I really appreciate you taking so much effort in saying my name right, dude. I know my camera's not working right now, but I see your expressions in it.
You saw it processing there.
I know. I was like, dude, I'm proud of this dude, man.
In his head right now, he's going 1, 2, 3.
I know.
Yeah.
No, that's good effort. But thank you, brother. Yeah, no. I'm very easy to find. Like I said, my name is very unique. So if you Google me, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be one of the only ones you're going to find. But I'm with PRMG, so you can just put my name, Yahya Chhotani. That's YAHYA. Chhotani. I'm on everywhere. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And you can always just search me online. Yep, there you go. There's where Mohit sees me.
I'm going to have to look you up on TikTok. I am unfortunately still a consumer and not a content producer there.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me, bro? You're creating this amazing content for all these listeners here. I got to say thank you guys for doing this, because I did listen to your episodes. And for everybody who's been listening to this show, it's amazing. It's like taking real estate and deformalizing it, making it a fun conversation between friends, and it kind of gives you a chance to understand everything in a much simpler way. So thank you, guys. That's a beautiful way to do it. Love it.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And guys, before Mo wraps it up, I just want to remind you, if you do reach out to Yahya, let him know that you heard him on the Moving to Florida show so you can get connected with us as well. And if you want to know how to connect with us directly, Mo's going to let you know how.
All right, we want to hear from you. You can reach us on our Moving to Florida show hotline by dropping a voicemail or texting us to 407-900-5859, or drop us a DM on Facebook or Instagram at Moving to Florida Show, and for Twitter our handle is at Moving to FL Show. If you'd like to connect with us, if you have any questions, or if you need a realtor or a lender in Florida, you can reach us at movingtofloridashow@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to the show if you like our content, so it will automatically download to your device and get you one step closer to moving to Florida.